Hi everybody, I just completed my first day as an Uber Eats driver and I want to talk about my experience. So I do have previous driving experience with Amazon Flex where I'm delivering packages that I pick up from the warehouse and then I go and deliver the packages to the people. And Uber Eats, basically it's very similar. Instead of picking up and delivering packages from an Amazon warehouse, I'm going to individual restaurants, picking up food orders, and then delivering that food to people. There are certain advantages and disadvantages, so let's go over them. Let's talk about some of the advantages first. One thing I really liked about Uber Eats is that there's a lot of control over what you're delivering. You can see beforehand the restaurant you're picking up from and the area that you're going to deliver to. And usually, whatever area you're going to get pickups from around the area that you're in. Like, for example, if I'm in LA, I'm not going to somehow get a pickup that's in Orange County. Or if I'm in Newport Beach, I'm not going to get a pickup that's all the way in Buena Park or wherever, right? It's going to be around the area that you're actually in. Amazon Flex, you don't really know. It doesn't show you beforehand what city you're delivering to. So once you go up to the warehouse, you pick up your packages, then you see what addresses you're delivering to. Sometimes, even if I go to the Irvine warehouse for Amazon Flex, I could be delivering to Long Beach, I could be delivering to Anaheim. I don't necessarily have to be delivering around the Irvine area. But with Uber Eats, that actually is the case where if you're in Irvine, you're going to get mostly restaurants that are actually in Irvine to pick up from, and the delivery is usually not too far from where the restaurant is. So I like that there's more transparency, that drivers get to know beforehand where they're picking up from and where they're delivering to, and it's not too far from where they already are. At least in my experience. I've only been doing this for one day, but this is what I've noticed. Another advantage is that it's a shorter time frame, meaning you don't have to take like 3 or 4 hours out of your day to do it, right? You don't have to. You could if you want to, but it's your choice. With Amazon Flex, you have to go for whatever amount of hours that you're signing up for, but whether it be 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. But with Uber Eats, if I just want to do one delivery, I could do that. And sometimes it could take as little as like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. In fact, one of the deliveries I completed tonight only took like 10 minutes. So that's a big difference, right? Taking out several hours of your day to do gig work versus only 10 to 20 minutes. So there is that versatility there. You could decide how little or how much you really want to dedicate to doing this gig work. Let's talk about some of the cons. One of the obvious cons is that Uber Eats does not pay as well per hour as Amazon Flex. Well, at least in my experience. I usually do Whole Foods, Fresh, and Prime Now orders in Amazon Flex, and that has tips available, and around the Irvine area, they tip pretty well because they're rich. So the tips are pretty good. So I usually make about, I'm going to say, around $40 an hour doing Amazon Flex blocks. Uber Eats, well, let's go over exactly how much I earned today. So if we go here, all right, so here we are. So today is November 7th. As you can see, I only drove today. This is my first day on the 7th, and I made $59.18. Here's the stats. I was online for 3 hours and 29 minutes, and I was active for 2 hours and 1 minute. I took 6 trips, earned 27 points. So the net fare was $39.42, and the total number of tips that I got was $19.76. So the total earnings came out to be $59.18. So a big chunk of the money I earned today came from tips. $39 for the net fare, and then $19 from tips. About $60. I'm going to round up. And I was active for about 2 hours, so around $30 an hour is how much I made today. Around $30 an hour as my first day doing Uber Eats. Which, honestly, that's pretty good. $30 an hour? That's pretty good for a gig work that you do on the side, right? But it can't really compete with Amazon Flex, where usually I'm making like I said, around $40 an hour. But one of the advantages for Uber Eats is that it's very simple, and there's way less access issues. So if I'm delivering packages, the customer isn't always going to be actually waiting around for the packages to be delivered. They could be out doing whatever they're doing and not be at home. So if I run into a problem, like I can't get into the building or whatever, and I try to contact the customer, sometimes they're not there. Or there's just situations where I just can't get the package to the customer. There was one time the other day, the packages that I got, I needed a code from the leasing office in order to deliver the package. Well, unfortunately, it was at night and the leasing office was already closed. So there was no way for me to get the code to deliver the package. But with Uber Eats, they're waiting for their food. Like, they're waiting at that moment to get their food. So if I'm going to contact them, it's very likely that they're actually going to respond at that time. But with delivering Amazon packages, they might not respond. They might not even be there, not even be home. So it's much more easy and straightforward delivering food for Uber Eats. Honestly, considering the difference in difficulty and complexity of the work you're doing, it's kind of worth it to do Uber Eats. Because yes, it does pay less, but still a good amount. I mean, $30 an hour, that's not low. At least not in my opinion. So I'm making about $30 an hour, at least today, and it was really easy work, in my opinion. Then again, this is me speaking from a perspective of someone who already has experience doing, driving gig work, but it's really not that complicated. You go there, pick up your food, say, I'm picking up an order for so-and-so, and then the app will just tell you exactly what to do, and then you just go deliver it to wherever. Pretty straightforward and simple. And like I said, because the people are actually waiting for the food at that exact moment, they're more likely to actually answer you when you have to contact them. So yeah, overall, I really like doing this Uber Eats thing. I think I'll continue to do it. It's probably my second choice after Amazon Flex. Amazon Flex is still my first choice because it just pays so much. Like, I'm getting paid around $40 an hour, or at least in the high 30, like $38, $48 an hour. That's how much I usually make. And usually I don't run into access issues with Fresh, Prime Now, and Whole Foods blocks. I completely avoid logistics blocks now because they can be a nightmare if you get apartment buildings that have access issues, like no gate code or the leasing office isn't open. It can be a real nightmare when that happens. But yeah, my first choice would be Amazon Whole Foods, Fresh, and Prime Now blocks. And second choice now would be Uber Eats. Pays decent and work is very simple and straightforward. Haven't run into any problems today. Okay, never mind. I take that back. The only problem I ran into today was that there was this one delivery. I had to drive through very, very thick fog. Like I felt like I was a little bit unsafe because the fog was just so thick. It was hard for me to really see I had to really slow down and take my time because it was hard to see where the heck I was even driving. It was hard to see the road or any, and it was dark too. This was at night too. Fog at night. It was really hard to see and get around. So I took my time with that order. But other than that, everything was straightforward and simple. So yeah, I would definitely recommend Uber Eats if you're looking to do gig work and you don't want to really jump through hoops and do backflips and things like that in order to make some extra money. It's a good way to make some good money on the side. And the reason I've been doing more gig work is because I've been having a lot of trouble with my car. It's broken down several times recently and I had to pay for the repairs. And I even got scammed. I took it to this place and they charged me $1,600 to replace my fuel pump. And I was desperate, so I said yes. Well, it turns out that they didn't even replace my fuel pump, and they still charged me money for it. I'm currently disputing it, you know, through my credit card company, so maybe I'll get the money back. But even then, I still had to pay 2 other mechanics for the other times that it broke down. It's been a nightmare. My car, oh my goodness, it's been a nightmare. It turns out I was driving on an empty, but I didn't even know because the fuel gauge was inaccurate. It showed that I had gas when I actually didn't. So I was just driving around and empty and wasn't even knowing it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. Overall, good experience doing Uber Eats my first day, and I'm going to continue doing it because it's pretty good. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.